welcome to the podcast. We got David, Corbin, and Reed. This book is about
Yes, yes.
Reality is Broken, Relating to Games by Jane McGonigal.
Oh,
Boom, that's my intro. I just did that without Reed interrupting me. Got a clap for
that's really
myself.
good.
Should I start from the beginning really quick, just to get David caught up?
Yes.
Here's the first quote. It says, "Games make us happy because they're hard work that we choose for ourselves. And it turns out that almost nothing makes us happier than good hard work." This is referring to because you're choosing to do the work, playing the game, doing the grind, it makes you happy compared to going to work,
I don't
Walmart
know
so
about
much.
that. Cause when I grind in Rust, I get mad and I'm not happy.
What's
That
your-
is
Pain in
true.
the
Yeah, why
ass.
do you think I stopped playing that game?
Yeah, okay, well, Rust is an exception. Rust is
It's
like
It's
water.
only fun when you actually like succeed and progress a lot.
That's Fiero. Let me talk about that. Okay, two words, flow and Fiero. Flow is a word from
Guy
possible.
Fieri.
Shut up,
Shut
Reed.
the f up, Reed. That was not a funny joke. I didn't laugh the first time. Okay, flow is a word from positive psychology. In the world of gamification, is referred to a state of mind when you're in a crunch of gameplay. This is like when
I'm
you know,
flowing. I'm
yeah,
in the flow,
you're in the
man.
flow. Or like this is like when you're stuck on a level. You're like, you keep doing, but it's like you're on the base of your skill level, so it's just drawing you in. And then fiero, it's an Italian word and is normally used to explain the feeling of extreme pride, pretty much like once you defeat the boss. So it's like Fiero, if you don't have Fiero, you give up on the game. So with Rust, it's a lot of flow, not much Fiero, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the main things that make games interesting are intrinsic rewards. I already told Corbin and Reed about this, but I'll say it one more time. First one, satisfying work. Rust does have this if you enjoy farming, hitting tree, hitting node, anything like that, hitting barrels. If you enjoy that, it's satisfying. Sometimes, only sometimes. The next one is the experience, or at least the hope of being successful. I look at this as opportunity. Most games, there's always opportunity to be the best, or at least, succeed. Third one, social connection, shitting on people, saying hi, talking, all the things like that, bonding with real life people. And fourth one is meaning, just finding a purpose. Alright, I think you're pretty much caught up. I just talked really
Okay.
fast to get you in there. First thing I want to talk about is, do you guys like games?
I love video games.
Oh, I hate you so much. Why do you make this so hard, Reed? Like, really? Oh.
What do you
I
mean?
love video games, dude.
You'd be like, are you still paying me for this? Oh my goodness. Alright. What is your favorite part about video games? Like what draws you into video games?
Well, this is gonna sound weird, but I like games where you can put in a lot of time into them to get ahead of other players. Like being able to put myself above other players by spending more time in the game
Yeah, so
and grinding.
it's like you get what you put in.
Yeah, that's
Kinda.
exactly what I mean.
Hell yeah. I don't know, for me it's probably like, I like adventure games, or I like PvP. So it's either like competition where it's like, I'm always trying my best and it's really hard, so it keeps me in the game. Even though I'm dying constantly, it's very entertaining. David,
What's up?
what's your favorite part about playing games?
My favorite part of playing games, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Main reason why I love playing games is because ever since I was a kid, games have always been there for me through everything. When I would be
That is
sad
true.
Mm-hmm.
or like just going through depression, games have just always been there for me through my hardest times. So it like takes me out of reality and just makes me be in my own like zone, like my own world. No problems, no nothing.
Oh,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
doing me, enjoying what I love to do.
I feel that. I think all of us have that kind of correlation of games as a release from reality, or at least it
Yeah.
gives us a
Daddy
sense of
issues.
happiness. Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this is day 2 of the podcast. We're joined by Ian and Luis. There's 3 oversights that I took from it. The first one was games give you instant gratification. The second one was you can gamify every mundane task, which gamify is pretty much like make anything into a game. It's just I don't think it's a real word, but they used it. So, and the third one is gamers can develop skills they can use in reality. The first one was games give you instant gratification. I mean, I don't see any problems with it. We all love video games here.
I think like the only thing with with that is like, yeah, this whole past year was like COVID and quarantine and all that, right?
Mhm.
So games became like a lot more, I'm not gonna say boring, but a lot more bland. It's not how it used to be. So like for me, I don't really see video games as like as fun as it was like a couple years ago, you know? Games are like, I kind of do it just to spend time, you know, kind of just let time pass by, just because time goes by fast when you're, you know, playing games.
I feel
I
like
agree with you on that. After this past year of repeating the same mundane tasks over and over again, the instant gratification that the book speaks of kind of seeps away from you when you do
Exactly.
when you get it so often, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So you get to a point where that you still have that instant gratification, but it's not nearly the same. It's almost like a drug.
Yep.
But the more you do it, the farther away you get from your initial feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then you're just progressing and doing more and more and more.
Have y'all taken game breaks? Like I know during quarantine I got
Oh yeah.
so many hours on Rust, and after like a while I just took like a month off of games just to like reset my psyche.
I wanted to take a break from games. It's just during quarantine, there's really nothing to do at all. So I would kind of like
Mhm.
force myself to just play something even if I didn't want to. And like even now, video games are all right. I'm not having as much fun as I was before because like no new games are coming out and it's just the same thing over and over. It's just not the same feeling, you know?
Mhm.
I think for me, I had a very difficult 2020 and 2021 personally. So for me, I didn't. I wanted to take a break from gaming. I wanted to, but it has become such a big part of my mental stability and how I deal with my emotions.
Mm.
Like how I think through things by myself, that I just couldn't do it. And it's not like I couldn't do it like a drug addict can't get away
Mhm.
from a drug for more than a couple hours. It's more like the times where I didn't have time to stimulate my brain, whether with tactical shooters, puzzle games, adventure games where I'm piquing my curiosity, developing my strategy, and all that. Like poking at my brain through those times really helped me process a lot of the things that happened to me during the past year.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was actually a really deep answer. I mean, I've honestly felt a similar correlation to games. Like I remember a couple weeks ago, right as school started again, I stopped playing games to focus on school. But I kind of got into a very like low state. Like I try to do other things that used to make me happy, like read my books, meditate, and stuff like that. But I wasn't getting the uh, satisfaction in my life that I wanted, and every day just started to become more grim and grim, even though it should have been, really relaxing, happy time.
That's another thing that I've seen with people that play video games consistently, like every day. Someone that doesn't play video games as much might look at them and say, "Well, why do you like doing the same thing over and over again?"
Hmm.
While we know that, as much as we play the same maps, play with the same people, play with the same guns, the outcomes are always different. The battles are always different. That stimulation is addicting. It's addicting to not
Absolutely.
do the same thing over and over again. So like you're saying, right? You went to school and you started feeling grim because you're going through the same tasks daily. You're almost becoming a zombie and doing the same things over and over again to a point where your brain becomes bland. You lose that creativity, you lose the drive to achieve something. You're just kind of existing.
Honestly, this first part is I love how you guys brought all these up and how this happened because the first part of the podcast I was with a whole different group of friends and I had to bring up every single topic and I'm not even kidding. Each of these keywords we talked about satisfying work, the hope of being successful, social connection, and meaning all without me having to bring it up. And I love how just from you guys playing games in your every life, you guys actually like they're not just written on a piece of paper. They are what happens. It's just like proof. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we should move on to
I don't know,
how.
it's your podcast.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm reading the next one. How can you use games to improve your life? So this is more of a me talking to help you guys understand what the book was saying. So you guys didn't read the book. I read the book and I'm gonna interpret it how I thought.
Yeah, fuck books.
So it was I actually really enjoyed this. When it says you can gamify every mundane task, anything that's boring, like I was, I came home from school, I was just, stressed out and I didn't want to do chores, but I mean, there's responsibilities. But instead of just like sucking it up and doing it, I still did it, but I chose to make it a game. So I set a time limit. I was like, all right, I'm gonna put music on and I'm gonna do this in 10 minutes. And it was stressful. Like I was, carefully putting away, like fragile dishes, but as fast as I could. And it was so stressful, but so much fun for no reason. Like I've never had so much fun putting away the dishes. And that's just like a small example, but this book talks just about how you can do things in everyday life, your work, your social life and everything else, just to make your life more interesting and have more purpose.
Yeah.
So, do you think that games have improved your social skills at all? I mean, this is like not really touched on in the book,
Oh, yeah.
just a little bit.
Personally, I'm connecting with people that I would have never connected with. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
mean, I live over here in Arizona. I live very far, over 900 miles away from you guys. I live very far from you guys. But games connected me to people, like I said, that I would have thought I've never talked to in my life. I mean, I'm talking to new people every day, and that's improving the way I'm just my social skills in general. I'm able to talk to people a lot better than others. I mean, I'm hearing people like when we're presenting stuff, like for
Mhm.
school, like for projects. A lot of people can't talk that as well as I can.
Okay,
Surprisingly.
I've noticed that too. Anybody that like I mean, like I'm not really outgoing, surprisingly. Yeah, I mean, you guys probably notice it, but I'm an introvert, but games have helped my social skills so much. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why, man. I mean, a lot of people just have no interest in school, but
Hmm.
public speaking is so much easier after, talking to so many
Yeah.
people every single day. Like it's different when you're sitting behind a mic, but subconsciously, like I just want to be more involved normally.
Hmm.
It's like sitting in a big Discord chat, like just like talking
Yeah.
with all your friends. I'm like, I'll speak up. Like I'll have a full conversation in class with like one of my teachers when he's not asking questions. I'm just having a conversation for me,
Hmm.
So here's just my thing, right? It's not really playing the video game that helps your social skills in this scenario.
Oh yeah.
It's more like who you're playing it with, who you're talking to, you know? There's a great importance in video games, right, for communication, especially when it comes to tactical shooters
Mhm.
and just team-based games, that communication is very, very important. So a skill that a lot of people who play video games consistently develop throughout their quote unquote careers, right, of gaming,
Yeah.
is being able to spew out information very quickly
Ooh.
and to receive that and perceive it, right? So if for example, I tell you, we're playing CS:GO or whatever, and I tell you that he is sitting sniper nest, right? You immediately know where he could be, right? Like the area where he is,
Exactly. Yeah.
and the possible angles that he could have on you, right?
Yeah, it
So,
definitely builds collaboration so much. Like,
mhm,
since I play video games and I talk to Reed so much, I know how he thinks and how he communicates. That like when we're working together, it's so fluid because we're like on the same level, and
yeah,
it's great.
getting that connection with someone and when you've spent so much time with them, where you're almost like you feel like they're thinking exactly what you're thinking, so
Mhm.
it gets to a point where you don't even need to communicate to each other. You can just, your body, your positioning, or like the actions that you're doing conveys the message without even having to say anything to
Yeah.
that person. Now, the other thing that I will say, apart from communication, that's very important in the world, is risk management,
Oh, okay.
especially when it comes to tactical shooters. Risk management and like being able to stand in a position, right,
Mhm.
and either assess where your possible risks are and or dealing with them, right, whether it's moving or shooting or whatever. That is something that can come into play in real life a lot, especially for someone in a manager position or a CEO position, right? You, as a manager, you have to assess so much risk with every decision that you make in the real world, that having that quote unquote practice is very useful for
And
people like that.
you're putting your body under high stress. Like when you play video games, your adrenaline spikes up, your blood pressure goes up. You're in the moment. You're not doing any physical work, but you're mentally strained and you're feeling all these emotions and you're training your brain to like I mean, you've seen like cognitivity or what's the word? Cognitive? There you go.
Cognitive.
Yeah, cognitive tests of like people that play games every day versus people that don't, and they rank substantially higher on a lot of aspects with like quick thinking and just like
Reaction time,
reaction time, hand-eye coordination, things like that. And
memory.
it's crazy. Like
There's
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 so
actually
many
there's
benefits.
actually there's a very interesting TED talk about video games and the effects on cognitive skills. Uh, and on every single category that they tested, there was like 6 categories or 5 categories that they tested. Gamers would consistently place higher than an average person, consistently. And I'm not talking like by 1 or 2 points. Like I'm talking
Mhm.
by like 20% increase,
Jeez.
just because of how much how much stress and how much in that state you put your mind into, where that you are able to handle more stressful situations easier than normal people are. Stressful situations are going to be hard whether or not you prepare for them or not. But being able to, like, from gaming, you can develop a sense of clutchness, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
Where you can deal with the stress without even it affecting you, right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
And that is something that is very useful in real life when it comes to sports, jobs, interviews, anything like that. You're put in awkward and like uncomfortable situations on a daily.
Yeah, it's unrelated, but
And
I find it so funny how the U.S. military uses Xbox controllers for like certain
drones,
things. Yeah, drones and yeah, certain artillery just because it's so easy to use and everybody
and
had
people
an
are used
Xbox.
to it.
Exactly, yeah. We're almost coming up on the 20-minute mark. Jeez. I'm gonna have to edit this down.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Actually, like, you guys are awesome. Final thing. This book talks about how, we can use games to better our reality. What it was really like getting to, so this book was written in 2011. There was only like World of Warcraft and a couple other games out. They wanted everybody to be playing video games. Like, you can look at it as a bias thing, like, oh, they're video game creator, they just want more money. But this person is actually awesome. They're saying we need good games that help out people, and they've seen the collaboration that we can do. They've seen the drive and how well people are at problem solving together. And they're thinking like we could put any problem in the world that we have, put into a game format, and people will solve it. Like it is a crazy thing. Like, you can think of just like simple like games like Civilizations, or like what's that one called? Like City Skylines. Like, that's a game about making cities and managing people, pretty much. It's like an overview. And that doesn't sound fun, but it is like a very immersive game just to like normal.
So it's actually really funny that you bring that up, because it actually happened.
Really?
There was an iPhone game. There was a mobile game for your phone that was released. I don't remember the exact details, but I read the story where they released a game that was basically about joining certain shapes together, depending on it would be like a random shape, right? And it would have points that you could connect other shapes to.
Yeah.
So they had people playing that game, and it was actually done by a group of scientists who then, those shapes and those connections were actually proteins.
No way.
And there were shapes that were made that actually turned into proteins that we used in scientific research and shit. It's actually amazing.
That is
the power
insane.
that just associating a task with a reward and like brain stimulation can do to the human body.
Also, if you guys, the listeners, are interested in that article, I'll link the NBC News article in the comments for you guys.
That actually reminds me. So like back in like grade school, like when we were really young, I'm talking like kindergarten, first, second, third grade.
That's what I say.
Did
You're
you
a
guys ever
child.
had like computer labs or whatever, like where you guys go in the computer room and
Yeah.
you guys play games? See, I think that's a really good example, just because if you think about it, like we've been playing games for so long, like
Oh yeah.
a long time, and they're using the idea of video games to make children want to learn, I should say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only way I
like-
wanted to type was when I played like the typing speed racer.
Exactly.
Dude.
But if
I
they're
mean-
telling you to type, you didn't want to type. But if it's a video game and it's in that sort of format, it makes people want to do it more often.
I mean, when you think about it, right? Us as humans, back millions and millions of years, we lived from doing a task and getting a reward, whether it was hunting and then getting
Intrinsic
food,
rewards.
or stuff like that,
Yeah.
where that's like a primal nature to us, and it's used all through our development years when we're young. I mean, look at those like cognitive boxes that they give you as a kid, where you had like the squares and the rectangles, and you
Yeah.
had to find like which hole goes where. That's a video. That's a game. That's a video game.
I
Right?
kid you
It's
not,
not a
you
video
can make
game, but
the
it's a
square
game.
go through the circle. You can.
Yes, on certain boxes, but that's not the point.
That's not the point, see.
Oh geez.
The point is that system of action equals reward is so ingrained in our being, and video games do that for you.
Thank you guys so much. I did want to mention, the author Jane McGonigal is a video game designer. She made a video game called Evoke, all capitalized EVOKE. It was based off of her philosophies. Just letting you guys know it's out there if you guys want to play it.
Man, I'm gonna have to check that out.
And, it is a good book. I mean, I do recommend it.
What kind of teacher is this? Guy or girl?
Mine?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a dude English teacher.
Oh, he probably fucking loved
Oh.
to hear this whole conversation then.
The whole conversation.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
No, I doubt it. I mean, I can
He'll just
link
be
it.
like-
Should I just be
he'll
like, oh,
probably
I
just-
left you the full one, but you really don't want to listen to it.
It,
What the fuck are
20,
you- He's gonna be like, what is wrong with
Don't
this
look-
kid named Reed?
I almost burst out laughing so hard because Z
Huh.
was like, get a little bit closer to your mic, Reed. You're kind of quiet, and then Reed literally shoves his mic down his throat while the podcast is going on.
It fucking destroys the audio.
Imagine you're in that class, it's just on the smart board and everything.
Yeah, that's oh my
That-
goodness.
Dude,
I can't wait
really-
to show this to my class. I am
Wait,
so
you
glad.
get, you actually get to
I
show
have
this
to
your
show
class.
this to my whole class. Yes, thank you
Dude.
so much, Reed. I love
Could you
you.
give me a,
Reed's
could you give me a
responses to all
shout-out?
these questions are like,
can you give me a shout out?
Retarded.
yeah,
can
that's
you, can you shout my Instagram out,
yeah. I'll definitely do that, Reed.
please?
Mhm.
It's Reed the man without any spaces. Reed
Oh, yeah,
REID DAMAN
Uh huh.
the man.
Yeah, I got that
That's my
down.
Instagram.
Yep.
Ladies,
You can
Go ahead.
find these other guys at
At Ian IAN _D _Gonzo GONZO. Yeah. That was so awkward. That was so awkward. I didn't know what to do, man.
Oh, so great. Oh, I
That
love
was so
this.
awkward.
Dude, I love this so much. I mean, I'm
was
having
awesome.
so much fun.
So awkward, bro. It's funny.
If you want to find more information and talk to this game activist, you can find him on Twitter.
If you ever need somebody to talk to about gaming or want to have a conversation about how gaming can affect your life positively, you can find me on Twitter at lsuazo. That's LSUAZO 1997.